Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the This Is Gonna Hurt podcast with Gordon Duncan. At This Is Gonna Hurt podcast, we're here to help you make a better you. And this show is part of the larger Capitalize Your Best podcast network. We are part of a network of 4 shows. On Mondays, we have This Is Gonna Hurt, Making a Better You, focusing on personal growth. On Tuesday, we have the Coach Training Partners, which is a relaunch of an old show. And our goal there is to help coaches grow their revenue and help coaches create programs. On Wednesdays, we have the Capitalize Your Best podcast, which focuses on business and marketing growth. At the moment, we don't have a Thursday show, but we do have a live 11 o'clock Capitalize coaching call. And then on Friday, we have the fun You're Entitled to Your Opinion podcast, which is reviews, insight into movies, genres, books, that kind of thing. So a lot of fun. Contemplating a 5th show for 2026, but have not decided yet. So friends, thanks so much for tuning in. I have so much to talk about. I want to share my thoughts about Spotify Wrapped. I have events, and then we want to hop into the show itself. But let me hop into Spotify Wrapped. If you have Spotify, around December, it gives you an update. Here are your 5 favorite bands that you listen to the most, your 5 favorite songs, how many minutes you listen to. And it's typically fun. They do like a little reel of it. And funny thing is, it's actually just Spotify tracking this. But my family, there's 5 of us, we're sharing, hey, here's my favorite song, here's my favorite band. It was just a lot of fun. Well, if you use Spotify or the old Anchor.fm platform to create your podcast, you get a podcast wrap. You get a Spotify wrap for your work. And all my shows run off the podcast platform Anchor.fm, which is now Spotify for creators. And guys, I just want to say thank you. Excuse me. The show is 8 years old. And it's hard to grow a show that's been going that long. I mean, quite honestly, what happens is there's just, let me move the mic here a little bit here. There's at some point in time, you just kind of get your audience and you wonder if it's ever going to grow again. Well, guys, I want to say thank you. This has been a year of just tremendous growth, which is pretty amazing because of 2 things. One, I lost control of the podcast at one point in time. The podcast was suspended, if you remember. Spotify thought that I was playing AI music over the podcast, which I wasn't. So we went about a month or 5 weeks or so where I didn't have access to the show. And then the bigger thing is we changed the format. If you remember, we used to say faith, family, fitness, finances, and sometimes fun, but I've split that up, and the business portions now at the Capitalize Your Best podcast. And This Is Gonna Hurt focuses on personal growth. So we had a bit of a tumultuous season, but the numbers, I'm blown away. My audience, you guys, increased by 85%. That is insane. 85% more people. So practically doubling the number of people who listen to the show. New audience grew by 999%. I 10 times the new audience. Now, what that means is that new folks find the show, and I'm going to assume the new folks like the format that's going out in a different direction. And then new followers grew by 11%. A lot of people listening, but I want to get those likes and subscribes up. But guys, thank you. That's just, I'm blown away by those numbers. I'm going to continue to put the show out faithfully. I've done a show. I used to do 3 shows a week here, but now I've spread it out over other shows. And 1 year I only did 37 shows. But this year I put out a show every single week. Even when the show's suspended, I hopped over to, and that was the reigniting of the Capitalize Your Best show. But guys, thank you. Now, if you're listening to this or Sunday or Monday, the 7th or 8th, guys, in Fredericksburg on December 9th from 9 to 3 is the Decade in a Day workshop. We're going to take an entire day and we're going to sit down and we're going to map out long-term strategies for our life. We have got phenomenal speakers. Mary Tanos, co-founder and chief business officer of Patriots Tax. She is a world-class sales and success coach, is going to lead us in a morning session. Dom Lepore, the CEO of RPI, is going to lead us in a strategy session in the afternoon. We may even be bringing in one more guest for a little 30 minutes in the afternoon. I'm going to lead us in some strategy sessions. The morning's going to focus on personal health. The afternoon's going to focus on business. And we are going to try to help all of us map out long-term strategies that will transform our life. It is breakfast and lunch and a social at the Out of the Box co-working space in Fredericksburg. And there is a cost. Since all this is included, it's $279. But if you guys reach out to me, I have two 25% coupons for you, and I have 150% left. So guys, let me know, please. Even if you're going to make half day, if you make half day, reach out to me. We'll figure it out. Just reach out to me, Gordon, everywhere, and capitalize. We'll find you and take care of you. But guys, thank you. And then also, before we get in the show, thank you. The Capitalize Your Best daily reader is just having a phenomenal sales cycle. Thank you. It's hardback. It came out looking great. And then this week, we're going to launch the workbook and the 10 pillar primer that goes along with it. So it's going to be an entire series. Guys, thank you. So much going on. So the year in movement, part of my year in assessments that I do is examining my year in movement. I ask about my health, injuries, my races, and where I'm at. I have a lot to think through this year. At the moment, I'm 100% injury free, and I'm very thankful. I'm not injured in any way. And that's incredible. Just for the mileage, my mileage was way down this year, probably 1,600 miles running. And in part, that's because at the beginning of the year, I did have an injury. And then also I moved into working out. You can see the pull-up bar, I do dumbbells, I do those kind of things. But it's been a different year. I only ran, best I can tell, it's funny, I don't keep track of this. I only ran 4 races this year, and technically 5. And they were all wonderfully successful. At the beginning of the year, I ran the Toughness 12 50 miler, where my goal was to run 50 miles in 12 hours, and I did it. It's funny, I've got a friend that I've been tracking online, and she probably doesn't want me to share her pages, because I mean her pages seem to be pretty private, but she just ran. I want to get this number. It's very inspiring. She just ran a 50 miler in 7 hours. It's an 8:47 pace. That's insane. Just very proud of her. And she and I raced together back during one of the Toughness Groove races a couple of years ago. But yeah, the year started off with the 50 miler. And I'm ready to run another ultra. I think at this point in time, I know that if I train differently, I know I could have a more successful 12 miler than I had 12 hour, excuse me. The 50 miler taught me that ultras have an ease to them once you start getting over 50K. I find 50K, that 31 miler is very challenging because I treat it like a marathon, and it's very challenging on the body. But the 50 miler was a bit more of a reflective spiritual experience. So I know there's another ultra on my list. Then I ran the Marine Corps half marathon weekend, and this year they did something different. They had a 5K on Saturday and the half marathon on Sunday, and I had an amazing 5K. I mean, I ran just barely breaking 20, like 20 minutes and 6 seconds, and then rolled around into the half and had a great race there. I wound up winning more hardware than I've ever won. I won a wonderful, I came in first place in my age in the 5K, and then I won the Grand Masters title, which is the 50 and older title for the 2 days combined. That day I came back and I was just stunned. I didn't go into that race as well as I hoped, but there was a moment, and I think that's part of it. I'm at the point where I love going into races where everything's just lined up. But after years, this is my year 16 of racing. Not everything has to be perfectly lined up for me to get to the starting line and have a good race. That was just joyous. I mean, I ran the 5K on my own. I got to celebrate the half marathon with my buddy Danny. It was just joyous. I mean, it was a week, not just that I won, but just to feel the ease of movement. It was pretty amazing. And then I didn't run anything again until way like September. I just haven't raced a lot this year, putting in the mileage. And at that point in time, I was training for a marathon, and a 5K is your best indication of how you're going to do in a marathon, believe it or not. Exact same thing, 2004, 2006, hovering right there at the 20-minute mark. It was hot and hilly. I ran that with my friend Carla. That was a 5K for charity in Richmond, and that was at the Hardywoods this brewery. And never run that race. It was an afternoon race. I've never run an afternoon race, but I finished that going, okay, I'm in better shape for this marathon than I thought. The marathon train was different because I started to mix in weight training. I know I just turned 55, and I know that if I'm going to hold up well, I've got to start adding some muscle. And that was the goal for that race. And I did. I added some muscle and it showed. And then I was ready to run into the only marathon I ran this year. And that was a mess because originally I was planning to run Richmond and that didn't work out. And then I was going to run Emerald Isle and then that didn't work out. So the only race I could get into was the Williamsburg Marathon, which was insanely hilly, the most hilly race I've ever run, more hilly than Boston. And I wound up winning, not with a great time. I just sub 4 hours, but it was a tremendously difficult course in a small field, and it's the first overall win I've ever had on a marathon. And so I look at it. So the year for me was the personal best of the 50 miler and the 12 hour, winning the Grand Masters title for the Marine Corps half, a really good 20-minute 5K, and then winning the Williamsburg Marathon. I would like to have run more races. It just wasn't that year for me. I'm not a huge, I mean, I got buddies who run 10, 15 races a year, and that's not me. I'll run maybe six. So, I mean, I ran four, technically five, excuse me. And I've learned I don't have to have perfect conditions to step up to the starting line and do well. I know that weight training is helping me, but here's the challenge. Like in the moment, I'm not enjoying running very much. One, it's also freezing cold outside and I've got to make the adjustment. But I think the weight training is actually tempting me not to run more, not because I love the weight training, because it's just, I can, if I'm feeling lazy one day and I don't want to run, then I'm like, oh, I'll just work out. And a workout's 45 minutes as compared to going out in the cold and running for an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I've got to get that under control. That's all mental. There's nothing, that's only mental toughness is what that is. So what does next year hold for me? Well, I plan on running an ultra. I'm sure I'll do Marine Corps half weekend again, and a fall marathon. That's typically what I know. There's races I enjoy along the lines, the July 4th race, and a couple others sprinkled in there. Never know when I might do something with Toughness Groove or Big Land or something like that. But right now, all I know is I'm going to run an ultra, a Marine Corps half weekend, and a fall marathon. But I think the important things for me is I've got to recapture some mental toughness. So what I'm doing is I'm doing some reading. I'm watching ultra documentaries. I'm putting all those things together. But the big thing is I just got to wake up in the morning and go. Whether I have a schedule or not, I just got to go. If it's cold, just got to go. If I wait and run an afternoon run, I got to tell myself that there's no problem with that. There's a little guilt in that, like, oh, I've wasted a morning. We'll work through that. But the bigger thing is it's been a successful year. I'm ending the year healthy, very thankful for that. I've added on some muscle mass, which is good to help me continue to do this. And what I encourage you to do, my friends, is to do a year in assessment. How much have you moved? What are your patterns? What do you want to change? What would be helpful? In your Capitalize Your Best Daily Reader, we talk about using your body fuel, your body capital. And your body capital is a way for you to grow in ways that you've not imagined. And the question is, are you taking advantage of it or not? Are you leaning in and growing your body capital? I'd love for you to. And towards that end, again, friends, I'd love for you to come to Decade in a Day. I think it's going to be a tremendous event. And thank you for getting to capitalize your best reader. But friends, right now, thank you for tuning in. As always, thank you for growing the show. Just humbled by that. And really, I just can't wait to see you again at the next show. So again, if you're reading this or watching this, excuse me, on Sunday, Monday, on Tuesday, we've got Coach Training Partners. Wednesday is Capitalize Your Best. And Fridays, you're entitled to your opinion. Like and subscribe to them all. And friends, thanks again for tuning in, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.